Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth through well. I wanted to get right into it. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Chapter 3 and verse 4. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Okay, that time of mourning is now. Okay, it's not the time for dance yet. The time for dance is when we're saved. Okay, the salvation that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai are going to bring, that's the time for us to dance, you know. So it says, it's a lot. Revelations 18 and verse 19, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, wherein were made rich all that bad ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Okay? Their time of rejoicing is now. Our time of rejoicing is not yet. Okay? When it's our time to rejoice, it's their time to mourn. You know? So when Babylon the Great is cast down, that great city, that great whore that sitteth upon the dragon, okay? Right now it's her time to rejoice. You know? Right now is the time of her kingdom. Okay? It says, verse 19, continuing on, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Okay? In 1 hour she is made desolate, which means destroyed. Alright? So by way of nuclear fire, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to destroy Babylon the Great. Okay? The Most High is going to destroy this place by way of nuclear fire. You know? And the merchants, all right, that made this merchant city so great, you know, or that this place that made those merchants so great by reason of her costliness, okay, they're going to cast dust on their heads because it's going to be their time to mourn. So it says, verse 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. That's when it's going to be our time to rejoice. Okay? So there's a time to mourn and there's a time to rejoice. Right now is not the time to rejoice. Okay? We're in the time of mourning, man. You know? We're in the time of mourning. You see? So going back, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 6, a time to get and a time to close, a time to keep and a time to cast away. Okay? Because right now the Most High is keeping these heathen, okay, in the time and in the position that they're in until all be fulfilled and it's time to cast them off. Okay? Let me see if I can find that. This is Sirach chapter 9 and verse 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner. Okay, because you had Israelites that would envy the other nations. And that's why in Ezekiel 30, I believe it was 32, you had Israelites that wanted to be like the heathen. Okay, because they were doing wickedly and the Most High wasn't taking them out. Okay. Because the Most High wasn't taking them out. Okay? So you had Israelites that were wishing to be like the heathen. Alright? It says, oh, that's a lot. It says, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. Okay? That's why it's not the time to rejoice like the heathen do. Okay? It's not the time to be out there and trying to make a living for yourself and trying to be, make professions and, try to be rich in the world. Now, we know brothers need to pay their bills and, we need to do certain things that we need to do. All right? But we're not putting our faith in this world. Okay? This is Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 12. And select. Let me see. Hebrews chapter 13, select. Hebrews 13 and 14. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Okay? Because we're not focused on the ways of the world, man. All right? We're seeking that which is coming, which is the kingdom of heaven. Right? So this is man, it's hot today. It's a lot. All right, so going back, it says, verse 12, delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember, they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. You see? So the thing that Esau Edom has going on, all right, is for nothing, man. Because the Most High is going to punish the ungodly. Job 20 and 4, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. You see? There's also this one. Job 9 and 23, if the scourge slay suddenly, he shall laugh in the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? Okay, so we know the world is ruled by the higher up elites, all right, by the wicked of Esau Edom. We know that. All right, but when Yahweh Hashem Yahushua comes back, will he find faith in the earth? Okay, because that's the main thing. That's what's gonna get you saved, man. Your faith. So you might be, going through some tough times. All right. But, all right, it shouldn't be in us to be trying to rejoice like Esau Edom being multimillionaires, multi-billionaires, because this is in our kingdom. Like scripture says, this is not your rest. Okay? Because this is not our rest, man. Our rest is not here until the kingdom of heaven is here. Right? So it says, Sirach chapter 3 and verse 7, Salakia, verse 6, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. Okay? Just like the heathen that are in charge, okay, they're gonna be cast away until the fullness of their sins, all right, come to a full. Let me see. It was Maccabees. Was it Maccabees? Might have been second Maccabees. Salak, bear with me. Second Maccabees, I think it was 6 and around the 12th verse. Gone. Second Maccabees chapter 6 verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for the chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any time longer or any long time, but forthwith punished. All right, talking about the Israelites. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Okay, whenever we do something bad, we're punished right away. And that's a token from the Most High showing us that he's still dealing with Israel, man. You know? So us being in the predicament that we're in, all right, brutality and, you know, racism and whatever the case may be, okay? Being the lowly of the earth, being called scum, all right, being called the carriers of diseases, all right? It's a token from the Most High to show us, all right, that we are his, okay? And we're still being punished. You see? That's why it says it's a token from the Most High, man. You know? Unlike these other nations where they continue in their sin and they're not punished. You know? They just continue in their sin until the fullness of their sins be what does it say? Until fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. You see? So when it comes to the height of sins, all right, the Most High is going to take vengeance of us, which means he's going to take out Esau Edom for the wicked things that he's done. You know? So that's why the Most High set it up that way, man. Okay? Because Esau Edom is going to come to the fullness of his sins, which is when he pushes the MOB, and he gets Israelites to take the MOB. All right? That's when he's going to come to the fullness of his sins, and the Most High will cast him down. You see? So don't rejoice, all right, over the small things you get, but rather give thanks to the Most High, man. You know? Because he's the ultimate power. He's the one that puts your life, all right, the way that it is. You see? So it says, 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 15, lest that being come to the height of sin, afterward he should take vengeance of us. And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. You see? So our thing isn't to be, partying like Esau Edom, man. You know? Our thing should be focusing on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I made a couple videos about shooting your shot. You know? A brother made a video about the women, all right, that have to stay in order, you know, and the real woman of the Lord will either be pleasing unto her husband, all right, which should be a man of the Lord, but if it's not a man of the Lord, if you came into the truth after you found a husband, okay, then you have to be, you know, pleasing to him, but still follow after the Most High, you know, and if it be, he may be saved, okay? Just because you came into this truth doesn't mean you can let go of your woman or your man. You know? So it says, and to comfort us, okay, we have the scriptures, man. All right? The elect have always known that the comforter are the scriptures, all right, which is the Holy Spirit. It says, 1 Maccabees chapter 12 and verse... And start off at verse 9. Therefore, we also, albeit we need none of these things, for that we have the holy books of Scripture and our hands to comfort us. Okay? So yeah, you know, it's tough and it gets tough, you know, but our things shouldn't be throwing Israelite parties, all right, to make up for, you know, the crazy things that happen, or to console somebody. All right, the conciliation comes from the scriptures, man. All right, it comes from the scriptures, bringing us back to our power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You see, so back in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 7, a time to rent and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Okay, so there was a time to keep silent, all right, and that time already passed, because now that we're coming into this truth, all right, we're supposed to be woken up to it, you know. So the time to be silent is already gone, man. You can see it in the news. The time to be silent is gone for the Israelite men, for the elect. Now for the rest of the nations, now it's time to be quiet. Okay? That's why the Most High got y'all wearing that mask, man. You know? That's why the Most High put it in Esau, Edom's spirit to cover you with that mask so you can shut the hell up, because it's our time to speak. Okay? It's our time to speak, because the Most High is time to speak. It's Yahweh Shai is time to speak. You know? In time past, you had these other nations that had freedom to speak, freedom to bring in their philosophy, freedom to teach whatever they wanted to teach. And look where we're at, 2021, all right, with a bunch of diseases spreading, okay, people dying, people scared, people are afraid, you know. The love of many shall wax worse and worse. This is 1 Ezra chapter 1 verse 50. Nevertheless, the Most High Yahweh, the God of their fathers, sent by his messenger to call them back, because he spared them and his tabernacle also, but they had his messengers in derision. And look, when the Lord spake unto them, they made sport of his prophets. And that word derision is ridicule and mockery. Okay? So now it's time for us to speak, whether you ridicule or not. You know? It's time for the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to speak, because it's time for you to listen to the Most High. Why? Because the gates are closing. You know? The time is closing. The gates are closing. You know? The Most High is showing you that the time is up. You see? So let me go back. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 7. A time to rent and a time to sow. All right? So a time to rent, which is to tear. All right? So a time to rent. We were split as a group of individuals, as a group of people, as tribes, as a nation. Okay? We were split from who we're supposed to be. Right? So it was a time for a rent. What did Yahweh Shai say? Smite the shepherd and the sheep shall be scattered. Okay? After Yahweh Shai was smitten, okay, the sheep were scattered everywhere, man. Scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay? So there was a time to rent, a time to split apart, okay? And now is the coming together, Ezekiel 37, and that's why we go out with the 12 tribe chart, okay? Because there's a time to rent, and right now is a time to come together, bone to his bone. You know? Let me actually get that one, Ezekiel 37. Jeremiah. Let's see, Ezekiel. Ezekiel 37 and verse 11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We are cut off of our parts. All right. That was the renting. We were hopeless. Okay? And now the hope that's coming is the hope of the gathering. Okay? The hope of us gathering. So jumping down, it says, verse 12, therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Okay? And that's what's happening right now. We're coming up out of our graves. All right? Because like it says in the book of Timothy, let me get it. All right? The Most High knows the state of mind that Israel is in. All right? And because Israel is in the state of mind, okay? Because Israel is in the state of mind, they're living in death. So it says, it's a lock. See if I can find it. Might have been First Timothy chapter 5 and verse 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Okay? Why? Because we've been living in pleasure in the land of pleasure. Okay? And it's not pleasure as a good thing. All right? It's sin. Okay? Sin is pleasurable to the flesh. You know? So we're living in the fleshly state of mind. Okay? Which is what this whole lesson is about. You know? We have to get out of that fleshly state of mind, man. You know? We need to get into the house of mourning. Okay? Not the house of Saul, of rejoicing and doing as thou willest. Okay? We're supposed to get in order, man. So it says, Ezekiel 37 and verse 12, therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you to the land of Israel. Okay? And ye shall know that I am Yahweh, and I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And I shall put a spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land, and shall ye know, then shall ye know that I Yahweh have spoken it and performed it, saith Yahweh. Okay, so the Most High is letting us know what he's going to do, man. We're going to have our time, okay? Because in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it talks about there's a time for this and there's a time for that, okay? We've been slaves, okay? We've been wicked. You see, we've been imperfect. We've been disobedient, all right? We're entering into a time where we're going to be obedient. We're entering into a time to where we're going to be saved, okay? From sin, from death. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Okay? We're going to be saved from the grave. You know? Our people are going to be living according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Our people are going to be living according to the law, statutes, and commandments. You know? So it says Ecclesiastes 3 and 7, a time to rent and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. All right? And that time for speaking is right now. Okay? Right now is the time to speak up, man. Right now is the time to go out to the highways and byways. Right now is the time to increase. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Right? Because there's gonna come a time to where you can't find the Lord anymore, man. There's gonna come a time to where we can't go out to the highways and byways. We got a hint of it last year, you know. Got a hint of it last year around mid-year. You know, we weren't allowed to go out to the highways and byways. We were on curfew. You know? And that time is coming again, but just much more serious, man. You know? They say it's always calm before the storm. Okay, we had some tough wins last year. This year the wins were okay. All right, so be prepared for a worse year next year. You know, always got to be prepared, man. You know, and what better way to prepare yourself for the oncoming calamities, all right, than to get right with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, as it says, the wicked and the good are in the hands of the Most High. Let me get that. This is Tobit 13. Tobit Tobit 13:1. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, Blessed be Yahweh that liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom. For he doeth scourge and has mercy. He leadeth down to hell, that means to destruction, and bringeth up again. That's what he's doing now, right? Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. You see? So the Most High, the way he set it up, is for us to get destroyed, or for us to be destroyed, Salak. You know? The Most High set it up, Salak. I don't know what the hell happened here. You know, the Most High set it up to where we're going to come up out of our graves, that dead state of mind, that Gentile state of mind, okay? And we're going to praise him, just like King David did, man. You know? King David was in a state of mourning for his child, because he knew his child was probably not going to make it, okay? And what happened after King David found out that the child didn't make it? He got up, ate his food, took a shower, and he went and prayed in the temple of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And not just prayed, but he praised the Most High, man. Why? Because his will be done, okay? So it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8, a time to love. All right, we tried that already, right? We tried that lovey-dovey, you know, everybody's equal. We tried that. There's been centuries of Christianity, man, on earth. And it didn't get us anywhere. It just got us raped, robbed, and confused. You know? It says, in a time to hate. Okay? In a time to hate. And what are we hating? Babylon the Great, man. The Edomites. Okay? The Most High has a disdain for the Edomites. And like Scripture says, abhor that which is evil and cleave to that which is good. And what does Malachi chapter 4 say? I mean chapter 1. Okay? Malachi chapter 1 tells you that Esau Edom is the border of wickedness. So if you are to abhor that which is evil and you are to cleave to that which is good, okay, so what does that say about Esau Edom? You know? It says Malachi 1 and 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build desolate places. Babylon the Great. America. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. Revelations 18. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. Okay? So indignation is what the Most High has, all right, towards Esau Edom. You know? So it says, verse 8 again, Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war, which is what's coming, and a time of peace. Now, when is that time of peace? When we're saved, man. Okay, when Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai saves Israel. So let's get into the war that's coming. 2nd Ezra. Salak. to it. 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose winds from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. Now Ezra was literally seeing this, okay, but it's also symbolic. And I beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with thousands of heaven, and he turned his countenance to look, and all things trembled that were seen under him. Now in Revelation 17, it explains to you that the waters were the people, okay, the nations. So when Yahushua shows up, okay, all these waves are going to be roaring. I like to try and come up against Yahushua. So let me read that again. 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. All right, there came a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. Okay, so all nations, all right, were moving, getting ready to fight. It says, or even bothered. It says, and I beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with thousands of heaven, and he turned his countenance to look. All things trembled that were seen under him. That's when Yahushua comes in. So also when Yahushua, the skies are seen as water as well. All right. When you say the word skies in the Hebrew is shamayim, all right, which is the heavens. Okay, the heavens are seen as water, as an ocean as well, you know. So when Yahushua cracks them clouds, okay, he's gonna appear by splitting the skies, you know. It says, and whensoever their voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Okay, it says Yahushua is coming here to light a candle, to light a fire. And then he says, what if it already be kindled? What if it already be kindled? Or what would I if it already be kindled? You know? Because Yahushua, when he comes back, there's already a war that's going to be going on, man. You know? That's what's going to be those waves, you know, going back and forth. It's going to be a war. That war that's coming is called the World War III. All right? The Third World War. All right? Which is also by nuclear fire. You know, like I made mention earlier. So in World War III, you're going to have this fire that's going to be lit. And Yahushua is coming back to light a bigger fire. You know, that's why he said, what would I if it already be kindled? So there's already going to be a war started before Yahushua comes back. All right? Whenever you see that movie, Wonder Woman, the first one, all right, that guy that starts talking says people think it's the end of the world. Okay? Because that's what World War III is about. World War III is the end of the world. You know? The end of this kingdom. So it says, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. You see? And after this I beheld, and lo, there were gathered a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, that's why you have Donald Trump and his Space Force. Okay, that's why you have all these other nations that are trying to make it up into the heavens, man. Okay, because they're trying to stop the Most High from coming back. They're trying to stop the Most High from putting his authority here on the earth. That's what happened in the time of Nimrod. In the time of Nimrod, all right, you had all these heathen that were trying to build the Tower of Babel to reach up into the heavens, all right, to try and avoid the Most High. They were trying to overthrow the Most High. You know? And that's why the Most High confused the languages, because it wasn't time for that yet. You know? It was too early on, but the Most High has had it in their spirit from the beginning. You know? And now you have this man Nimrod again, okay, Esau Edom, that is trying to overthrow the earth, trying to overthrow Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and trying to overthrow authority. You know? Why? Because he knows that he has a short time. So it says, verse 6, and I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Okay, which is the chariot. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Okay, so everybody that's going to come up against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, they're going to be afraid, man. That's why scripture talks about men's hearts failing them for those things which are to come. You know? Because they're going to be afraid. You see? They're going to be dealing with you know, celestials, man. Okay? Yahushai, the angels, the elect. You know? After Yahushai sends the elect to destroy the rest and enslave the rest. You know? I remember when before I came into the truth, I had a daydream, all right, that there was people that came from another planet or from outside the planet, and when they came here, they picked me up, okay, they took me into their ships, and they left with me to teach me how to fight so that I could come back and fight with them, all right? It was like a little daydream I had, you know, and I had forgotten about it. But the spiritual meaning behind it is that the elect, you know, Ada one Ratazam, part of that number, but that the elect, after they're beamed up and they're taken by the chariots, all right, Yahushua is going to change their body in a second as they're going up. Okay, and the chariots are going to have those perfect bodies, immortal. Okay, now when they come back down, okay, you're going to have Esau Edom try to kill off the elect as well. Even though, you know, they'll have bullets bouncing off of them, or however the Most High sets it up, you know, or just a radiation that takes them out too. You know? But all those things are going to happen for the elect, man. For the wicked are going to be left behind. You know? It says, 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 9, and lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it was a beam of light, of fire, and out of his lips of flaming breath, out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Okay? Now, let me get this one. 2 Samuel 22 and verse 8. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Talking to King David. Okay? It's a lot. It says, verse 9, wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of Yahweh, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to thy wife, and hast slain him in the sword of the children of Ammon. Okay, that's just the mercy that the Most High had on King David. All right, but continuing on, it says, let me see. In the next part. Verse 10, verse 11, therefore saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of his son, for thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Yahweh. And Nathan said unto David, Yahweh hath also put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Verse 15, and Nathan departed unto his house, and Yahweh strake the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David. Salakia. Let me see here. Oh, Khan, I was in the wrong one, Salakia. I was reading chapter 12. 2 Samuel 22 is what I was supposed to be reading. Salak. 2 Samuel 22 and 8. Second Samuel 22 and verse 6, the sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my disease I called upon Yahweh and cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled, the foundations of heaven moved and shook, because he was wroth. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire came out of his mouth, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Now, when you bow the heavens, okay, when you bow, you do this, right? It bends. That's what they call a mushroom cloud. He bows the heavens. When that cloud goes up, it starts to curl out. All right, a mushroom cloud. He bowed the heavens, and it says smoke was under his feet. Why? Because in Revelations, it explains let me see. Should be here somewhere. What was it? Revelations. Select. Revelations chapter 15 and verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. Okay, so that sea of glass represents that mountain that was graven, that Yahweh Shai built unto himself. Okay, so you're going to have that sea of glass, which is a ship. All right, the elect are going to be on the ship looking down, and under his feet are going to be, like it says here, 2nd Ezra 13 and Salakia. 2 Samuel 22 and verse 9, and then went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and the fire of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens. He bowed the heavens also, and came down. And darkness was under his feet, which is what? It's talking about the destruction that's going to happen. All right? A great gulf fixed, okay? To where the elect are going to be safe and everybody else is going to hurt. You see? It also talks about in first, I believe it was 1 Peter First Peter 3:10, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let me see if I can get it real quick. John over here. John. First Peter or Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Okay, which is by nuclear fire. You know? So back in 2 Samuel 22 and verse 10, he bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness, pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Yahweh thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning, and discomfited them. The channels of the sea appeared. Foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of Yahweh, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. Okay, so we go back, 2 Ezra chapter 13 and verse 10. But only I saw that went out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. You see? So that fire that's coming is a destruction the Most High is going to bring, okay, to Babylon the Great, America. It says, verse 17, he sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters, okay, which is what? The land of drawing water, okay, the whore that sitteth upon many waters, okay. What's that many waters? Not just literally many waters, because it does, okay, but also many nations, okay. America is a melting pot, you know. You have a whole bunch of different nations here in Babylon the Great, man. You know, so America is that melting pot. It says, verse 18, he delivered me from my strong enemy and from they that hate me, for they were too strong for me. You see? And this is Ezra speaking, man. A man of the Lord. You know? So how is it that you Sakari, IUIC, and you idiots out there, man, thinking that you can overthrow Esau, Edom? You know? You can't overthrow this man. He's too powerful for you, man. The Most High set him up that way. Why? Just like in the time of the Romans. You had people trying to overthrow the Romans, Israelites, and they couldn't. Why? Because the Most High made them too powerful. Okay? In order to display his own power. So it says, 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 18. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. Okay, so for you to think that it's some man with a pitchfork that's causing all this wickedness to happen in the earth is just stupidity. Fairy tales. Okay? The man that's causing everything here on earth are your leadership, the higher up elites. Okay? Those are the wicked of the earth. The Rothschild, Rockefellers, so on and so forth. You know? You Edomites, self-proclaimed white people, man. It says, verse 20, he brought me forth also into a large place, He delivered me because he delighted in me. What is that large space? It's talking about the ship. Okay? That large ship, we're going to be delivered, man. Okay? This is Deuteronomy 33. And I'm just going to get to the point. Verse 26. Also verse 27. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. Okay? The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms, and he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Okay? That's what Yahweh Shai is coming for, man, the destruction. That's whenever we get to rejoice. When they mourn, we rejoice. Okay? When they mourn, we rejoice. That's just how the Most High set it up. That's the way it's going to be. Okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid, okay, because of how terrible it's going to be. When Yahweh Shai takes out these heathen, it's not going to be a pleasant sight, okay? For you heathen, you're going to look and you're going to tremble. Even for our current state that we're in, we would tremble if we had that vision, okay? 2 Samuel 22 and verse 21. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, he hath recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yahweh, and have not wickedly departed from my power. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity. Therefore Yahweh hath recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show them thyself merciful, with the upright thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, with the forward thou wilt show thyself unsavory. You know? So the Most High delights in righteousness. Okay? So what are we to do? Rejoice in the wickedness of the world? You know? Do what Esau does? You know? Be the wicked, the border, what does it say? The border of wickedness. You know? We're supposed to shoot our shot, man. Pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know? And if you forget to pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, pray that you remember. Okay? Because those names, ultimately, that's going to be your salvation, the names. All right? Because with the names comes power, man. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You know? So the destruction that's coming is imminent. It's going to happen. There is no avoiding it. You know, like Thanos said, man. I am inevitable. You know? Yahweh Shai is inevitable. The Most High Yahweh is inevitable. Okay? He wrote this book with instructions. All right? He made it that clear, man, with a book with instructions and meant to break it down to show you what's to come. Okay? It says, 2 Samuel 22 and verse 26, verse 27, Salakia, with the pure that will show thyself pure, with the froward that will show thyself unsavory. And the afflicted people wilt thou save, and thine eyes are upon the haughty, that thou mayest bring them down. For thou art my lamp, O Yahweh, and Yahweh will lighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, by my power have I leaped over a wall. As for Yahweh, his way is perfect. The word of Yahweh is tried. He is a buckler to all them that trust in him. For who is God, save Yahweh? And who is a rock, save our God? The Most High is my strength and power, and he maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hand to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. Okay? So if you're with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know, he's going to teach you. If we taught King David how to war, he's going to teach you how to survive and how to be safe, okay? How to trust in him through wisdom, knowledge, understanding, how to increase. Going back to what Revelation says, rejoice over her, thou holy prophets, all right? Thou heavens, and rejoice over her, thou holy prophets, for she has avenged you, for he has avenged you in her. You know? So a destruction that's coming is imminent. You see? The Most High set it up that way, all right? And that way it shall be. You know? So in Joel, in Amos, no, it was Joel chapter 3 and verse 19, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. And I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion. Okay? So whose blood is he cleansing? The Israelites. Okay? Starting with Judah, and out of Judah, okay, came this truth, you know? Out of Judah came this truth, man. We woke up to Judah. And Judah woke up by the will of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. You know? All right. So continuing on, Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, and it is nigh at hand. Okay? The day of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is nigh at hand. It's right around the corner, man. You know? So let's see what happens when the day of Yahweh comes. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the mountains spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath never ever been the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Whoo! Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Okay, so the Most High already wrote it down, man. Those missiles that are coming, before they touch, it's going to look pleasurable. It's going to look okay, green. After they touch, it's going to be a desolate wilderness. And we read in chapter 3, all right, Egypt. Let me read it again, Salak. See if I can get it. What does it say exactly? Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. Okay? So this place is going to be completely and utterly destroyed, man. And that's the will of the Most High. You know? So our time to rejoice is after this place is taken down and we're taken to our place, all right? And we're taken to where we're supposed to be. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also as heaven shall drop down dew. All right, so that's after we're saved and we're taken to our place. Verse 29, happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people, saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. That's when we rejoice. Right now is not the time to rejoice. Right now is the time to get serious, all right, in the business of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, our rejoicing will come after we're saved, man, and that's right around the corner. You know? So I hope that was edifying, and with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rekakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.